everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Why I Love Flagler County, your local podcast spotlighting local businesses and local residents on what they love about being a part of Flagler County. So today I'm super excited to have my guest, Miss Erica Flores, with us today. Erica, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Of course. Well, Erica reached out to me just a few weeks ago via Facebook. She's like, I saw your videos online and I'd love to talk about Vincent's Clubhouse. I got that right this time.
Yes,
And I
yes.
was like, oh my gosh, I would love to. And then I just found out that Erica did a podcast with my dad. And then also, I believe you're working with the Bold Ladies as well. So there's a lot of great stuff going on for Erica. So I'm really excited to talk a little bit about Vincent's Clubhouse and the story behind it and what they have coming up. So I'll have Erica just kick us off really simply and tell me a little about your journey coming here to Palm Coast, coming here to Flagler County, and how has that been for you?
I grew up in Philadelphia and moved to Volusia County, finished high school in Volusia County, and ended up coming to Flagler when I was still in college. We've lived here since 2005, and I absolutely love this community. I love that how it is. It's still you still have the feel of it's not necessarily a rural area, but you still have that tight knit, close feel where you can go to breakfast and recognize somebody in the restaurant, or go to a store and see someone. And I just love how we can come together in Flagler County for good causes. We support each other. Um, and I really appreciate that where we live. I have worked in Volusia County my entire career, and a lot of times people have said to me, why don't you just move there? It doesn't make sense. You and your husband both work there. And I tell them all the time, it's because I love the community that we live in. I love the people that are here, and specifically the school program that my son Vincent is in with Flagler Schools. I've had a great experience with them, and you know I love Flagler County. I love where we live. I love the little. It's big enough, but we have the small hometown feel at the same time.
Yeah, I know a lot of people talk about growth, especially those who have been here as long as you, like talking about the growth and how it feels like it's become so big. But I think also it's really important to note that we still have, I think, a lot of that small town charm still. And I always tell people the way that I measure it is like when I go down to Flagler Beach, I almost never have to think about parking. I know that there's going to be a free, easy parking spot somewhere, and that alone makes me think like, okay, we still have a few more years of this as like a hidden gem, you know?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
yeah, it's not gotten to the point where it's like unmanageable or not Orlando yet by any
Nope.
means, not Jacksonville. So I think we still have a few more years under our belt, which is still really cool. But that's so awesome that you've been here for so long and you've been a part, and I think you've seen a lot of that growth that I mentioned. How did that feel at first when you're like, oh my gosh, so many people are coming, so many new stuff is opening up?
It was kind of wild. It happened very quickly. I think, raising my son here, we're really focusing on, just raising my son, right? And my career, and then just seeing all these things come, um, be built up, and things, I remember when, um, like the island, I guess it's where Publix is, and Hobby
Mhm.
Lobby, and when they demolished that whole that whole center and then rebuild it. And I'm like, this is so wild. Like, how do I explain to someone what this looked like before?
Right.
I think that it's pretty, and that's just one example, but it's pretty wild. I do think that we need growth. I think we need responsible growth. Um, and I know that Flagler County was initially thought of as a retirement community, but it's not that. And I'm very much focused on, creating a community that is inclusive and can meet the needs of all of the people that live here.
Yeah.
So that's really my focus.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Yeah, this had planned out to be a retirement community, but I think as a lot of people hopefully will notice, especially with the podcast, I've interviewed so many people, so many younger people too, that it's not just that we're young, it's that a lot of us have businesses or we're part of something. And I hopefully people can see that and be like, okay, we do have younger people here and they're doing something and they love it here. Which I also think is a perfect segue into talking a little bit about Vincent's Clubhouse. So why don't you just kick off really quick on what the story behind starting that is and what you guys do?
So, Vincent's Clubhouse, we're a nonprofit organization here in Flagler. Our mission is to serve and advocate for individuals with autism and related disabilities by providing quality resources, inclusive opportunities, and engaging programs that enhance their lives and the lives of their families. So, we started Vincent's Clubhouse almost 7 years ago, right here in Flagler County. My son is Vincent, and he started out in the Bunnell VPK ESE program when he was 3 years old. And now he's a senior at, or I'm sorry, a senior, my goodness, he's a freshman at, I don't want the time to go by that fast. He's a freshman at FBC. And, so he grew up, he's grown up in Flagler County schools. So, one summer, about 7 years ago, he had wanted to go to summer camp with his cousins who are also here in Flagler County. My family lives here, and my sister has her children, my four nieces and nephews, and he wanted to go to summer camp with them. And I knew that the summer camp that they had attended would not be adequate to meet the needs of, meet his needs. And I told him when he said, "Mom, can I go to camp with the kids?" I lied to him because it caught me really off guard. And I said that the camp it was all filled up. And I knew it wasn't filled up, but I didn't know how to explain at that point to, a 7-year old, what is this going to look like for you? And why can't you go? So I thought about that, and I did some research and I couldn't find any summer camps for children with disabilities, children with autism. So it really upset me. And I had gotten to know through the school system a lot of other parents, a lot of amazing kids. And I said, there's really nothing for our kids in our community. I love this community, but there's really nothing for our kids. So I said, well, I'll just start my own then. So I started Vincent's Clubhouse, and the first summer camp that was in August, and the following June we had our first summer camp, and there was 8 kids, and it was a crazy, fun, amazing time. Um, and some of those kids are still in. Most of those kids, those original 8 kids, are still in our summer camp now. It's just they've all grown up together. And so we started with a summer camp. And after the summer camp, I had gotten parents reaching out to me and saying, "Okay, that's great, thanks, but what now? What else?" And I'm like, well, I just wanted to get through the camp." So I realized even then more so that there was such a need for programs for people with autism, with disabilities. So we started our support groups. So the first Thursday of each month, we have a support group that we do together. We have the third Wednesday of each month, we have an educational series that we partner with Flagler schools to be able to give parents knowledge. And I think when you have knowledge about all of these processes, especially in school, you're able to advocate for your child better. We have social events. We do a lot of advocacy work and advocacy programs. I'm very involved with the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council and the Family Cafe, which has really brought to my attention, education was always a huge focus for me. But, as our kids grow older, and I think I'm seeing this more so in Flagler County more now, is that our children who are enrolled in school, they're going to age out, right? They're going to get older. So you have these students with disabilities. There's 2,600 students in Flagler County schools right now who are on a 504 or an IEP plan, who have some sort of accommodations. And as they get older, now what's going to happen, right? Their parents have purchased homes in Flagler County. They're invested in our community. So how do we meet the needs of those people that live in our community with disabilities? So, it's brought to my attention even more so, advocacy, the need for advocacy for transportation, for housing, for employment. So it goes very far beyond just that education, because our kids are getting older. Like I said, Vincent's in freshman, but 4 years, 5 years from now, he'll be graduating, and then what does that look like? So for parents like myself who are invested in our community, we want to be able to create a community that we can live in, and that our children can thrive in, our adult children can thrive in. So we actually also started, this has probably been about 8 months, we started the Beautiful Ladies Club, which is a monthly meeting that a social group, the second Friday of the month, meets at Sweet Melissa's Ice Cream over in City Marketplace. And it's for women on the spectrum who are ages 21 and above. So, because we realize the need for adults on the spectrum to be able to connect with each other. So, really just kind of my goal this year is to really just bring awareness of Vincent's Clubhouse, what our mission is. We're the only organization like this in Flagler County, homegrown. We really just want to make sure that we are, we're growing and meeting the vast needs of the people in our community with disabilities.
Mhm.
So I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, that makes so much sense. You definitely should be. There's a lot of exciting things that you guys are in charge of. And it's so cool to hear that, you guys have things for the kids, but then now you're also starting to think a lot more about the adults as well, because, even for, neurotypical adults, there's not as much like young adults, there's not that much for us to do anyway over here, like planned
Absolutely.
stuff, like we have friends, you want to do things, of course, but these planned activities are so important because sometimes, it's nerve-wracking to ask people to do things, and doing schedules and stuff. So it's awesome you guys have something like that for women on the spectrum as well. And of course, the summer camp is just so much fun. I mean, not that I've personally gone, but summer camp in general is like a huge part of children's lives,
It is.
I just know that, I went to some, my brother went to some, all of my friends have done something like that. And when it comes to people, like kids with disabilities or on the spectrum, they shouldn't have to feel like I can't have fun because, you just need a little bit more help. You sometimes need a little bit more patience, and maybe you just need some more games that are more tailored to them. And that should just kind of be the norm, it should
That's
be
exactly it.
possible and having those doors open. So, and also huge hats off that you saw this problem that we had in Flagler County of not having anything for someone like your son, and then just being like, "Well, I'll do it. I'll go ahead and I'll do it for myself, and I wanna make sure that my son has a great experience." Because it's really easy to just complain, post on Facebook, "Why don't we have this?" But it's a lot harder to actually go out and do it and make that change and be so successful with the changes you have been.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a lot of hard work. I wish we were bigger than we are, but
Mm,
we'll get there. And
yeah.
I always say to myself, if I can, that one family who will call me and say, if it wasn't for you being able to, when I had a really rough time and I called you and you were there for me, and my son or daughter had an incredible time at a Vincent's Clubhouse event, or we connect other parents together through our support groups, or we're able to advocate for something that a student needs at school that we're able to get now. It makes it all worth it. It makes it all
Yeah.
worth
Definitely. I mean, that's so great. I mean, I'm sure it's so lovely for you to hear that people feel that they can come to you, that they feel open with, your organization and you as a person. And that's really all what community is about, being there for each other, finding the gaps in, our desires and our lives and being able to fill it together, holding each other's hands and supporting each other throughout the way. So that's really lovely to hear. Erica, before we wrap it up, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, what is the best way to support you guys? What are maybe volunteering options, donation options, anything that you guys need help? How can the community best support you guys?
Well, we're always looking for volunteers and we're always looking for funding. A lot of our events, all of our events are either very low cost or free. Because unfortunately, sometimes with families with disabilities, um, it's very difficult for parents sometimes to be able to work because they're taking care of their children. So it can be a lot. So we want to make sure that we're always, we're making things. um, obtainable, right? Our events and whatnot. So any type of funding, any type of donations are greatly appreciated. We have our Easter egg hunt coming up March 23rd at the community center. It's a sensory friendly Easter egg hunt from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we're always looking for Easter eggs. You know, that's a huge event that is just really, really well received. You know, there's so many parents that have reached out to me over the years that are like, it's on a smaller scale, but it's still just as exciting. And they say, you know, the overstimulation of some really large Easter egg hunts in the community that their child would never be able to attend. Um, so we have that. So any type of Easter eggs, any type of, you know, funding, they can reach out to me directly. My cell phone number is out there. You can call me, text me directly, email at erica@vincentsclubhouse.org. Um, April 6th, we also have our huge Autism Awareness Festival. It's the only Autism Awareness Festival in Flagler County. We started last year. This is our second annual event. It's April 6th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the town center. So we're going to have resources, support vendors, you know, to be able to provide resources to our families here. We're going to have performances. We have the command center, the mobile command center from the Flagler Sheriff's Office is going to be there. The Flagler County Fire Department's going to be there. We have a bounce house village that is going to be free for families. That's sponsored by Premier Chiropractic. So they're going
Oh,
to be free bounce house village. We're going to have a kid zone, a DJ, food trucks. So, you know, really just a good opportunity for families to come together to celebrate Autism Awareness Month. Worldwide Autism Awareness Month in April.
awesome. So I'll make sure I have all that information in the description so people can click on those, copy and paste them whatever way to save it to their calendar a little bit easy. April 6th sounds like it's going to be a great event, and I love what's it called? The sensory free or sensory easy Easter egg hunt. I mean, even for me, I can't do like the
Right.
big lights, the loud noises, the like air horn that they do and stuff. I even myself, I can't do it, and I'm 20 now. I didn't
Yeah,
like when I was a kid. I don't like it now.
exactly, exactly.
We need one for like, just adults who just don't want those
What need
noises.
all of that stimulation. Life is
Right.
very stimulating enough, right?
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, I can't do the whole big stuff. It's fun for like 2 minutes and then you leave.
Exactly.
Well, Erica, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it. It was so, so touching to hear your story, what inspires you, and what keeps you guys going. It's really, really lovely to hear about what we do in the community and how much more we can support the community, as long as we know things. I often ask people, how would you recommend to get involved with the community? And the number one answer I always get is getting involved with a charity, with a nonprofit, volunteering, supporting, sponsoring, things like that. And I really love highlighting the ways that people can do that, right? So now we talk
Exactly.
about there are nonprofits, and here are the nonprofits that you guys should definitely support. So I really love your guys' cause, and I love how you guys are doing it. So thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's been wonderful. I appreciate it so much.
Of course. And to everyone listening, thank you so much. I really appreciate you as well, and I will see you next time. Bye.